Jace LeJeaune from Gridiron Football. I'm here with Coach Patrick Clarkston from Slaughter Charter. Followed the program a couple of years and looking forward to catching up with Coach Clarkston and see what the Knights are up to, getting ready for the spring. And they got track going on right now, but it's never too early, or I guess never too late to talk about football. So especially around here in Louisiana. But Coach, looking forward to talking with you and looking forward to chatting with you. But yeah, this is a great foundation you've really set for this program. I mean, the last couple of years, it's doing something that the program's never accomplished. 3 straight winning seasons, and having a chance to win, maybe get that 4th straight winning season this year too, is definitely a goal. So what's been really the key to really getting this program on the right track, considering that really there's a program under 10 years under its belt?
Well, I think the biggest thing with our early success is that we were able to reach the kids real early and, set forth the philosophy that we have, the things that we're trying to accomplish. This is definitely a 5-year plan coming in, and where we're at now, was maybe like the 5th year, or 4th year. So we're ahead of the 8 ball on that, which is good. We just want to continue to build and get better each year. The biggest thing with me is teaching and coaching. Being able to get the kids the fundamentals that they need to be successful on the field. I always want to have the success of, we don't need to be the biggest or the strongest on the field, but we just want to be as technically sound as we possibly can be, which gives us an edge in each game that we have to play.
Well, absolutely. Coming off a successful season, 7 wins last year, 7-4. Great season last year, and it seems like 3 straight winning seasons, going for a 4th. What's really the next step for this program? I'm sure y'all really talked about it a lot over the off season, but for this group and the guys you got coming back, what should we really expect from this year's group?
Well, this year's group is, I think this group here, we have a lot of senior leaders in this group, a lot of football knowledge kids we have in this group that have been playing football for a while, so that translates very well for us on Friday nights. I think the biggest thing is making that deep playoff run that we want to make. That's the next step in the plan. Being able to make that deep playoff run. We won our playoff game last year, which was the 2nd time in school history that we made it to the 2nd round of the playoffs. But we want to be able to push it and get it. We want to try to get as close to that dome or to the dome as we possibly can.
Yeah, for sure. I know some of your guys were talking about that, making that push to the dome, and that'll be a huge step, obviously, for this football program. And we spoke to those 2 guys, Tykemi and Ford. Those are 2 guys that are going to be relying a lot on this year, Tykemi and of course, Thomas Carter. What can you say about those 2 guys? And I'm sure those are going to be 2 guys you're going to be leaning on quite heavily this year.
Yeah, I tell you what, those 2 really put Slaughter on their back. They get out there, they give us 110%. They're very coachable. They ask questions. That's the good thing about them. When they don't understand something or something didn't go their way, they ask questions. So they give us the opportunity to correct them, and then they go out there and they execute it the correct way. So that's one of the things about this senior class here, just in general. They come out and they ask, if they don't understand something, they want to make sure they get it down packed before they move on to anything else. And that really drives our success right there.
Before I ask about the other contributors, tell me individually what do they stand out most about their game?
Talk about Thomas and
Sure.
Thomas, he's our headhunter on defense. He comes downhill real fast, and he blows. If there's a big hit in the game, Thomas has contributed. I can guarantee that. And he makes a lot of big plays for us on defense. Ty, we've worked with Ty since his first year starting as a sophomore, about him not just being sold on just throwing the ball. If it's not there, just being able to run. I told my son, I have full confidence in you. If you pull it down and it's not there, you pull it down, it's okay to run. Mm-hmm. And this past season, he executed it very effectively during the games, and he understood what we were trying to do is, because we're not going to always be open on passing routes, but we have that second option with him using his feet.
Well, this senior class has a chance to be the most successful in school history, especially with a great season this year. So who are some other contributors, especially from the senior class, we should definitely take a look at?
We have Carson Baxter. Carson Baxter was our starting running back last year. He's kind of our Swiss Army knife guy. We could put him in anywhere and he's going to have success. He plays some linebacker. He played running back. We have a wing back, which is kind of like another back that he's played before. So Carson does a lot for us. He also is the second string quarterback, so if anything happens to Ty, or if we want to try to put Ty at wide receiver and put him at quarterback, we have that option to do that also with Carson, because he's capable of doing so much more than just one position on the football field. And then we have Caden Oakley. Caden Oakley is our starting inside linebacker. He's probably more of a wide receiver. This year we utilized him a lot more on offense than we did last year. He's probably going to be the one that's going to take the place of Josh Thomas, who was our explosive guy on offense. So he's the next explosive. I mean, he can flat out run. He can catch. He run good routes, and he's just a tackling machine on defense. Those guys. They really make up the foundation of what we're trying to do. We also have Hayden Milliken. He's our starting center. He's been starting for 3 years also, so a lot of experience down the line with him. Not a huge kid, not a super strong kid, but he's just fundamentally sound, and he makes the right blocks every time. He calls the defense out. So it just... That whole class, just that whole group of them, they just do so well for us, and they all gel together, and they're all best friends. They're all good friends, and so that's what I love about them. They have that family. When we talk about family, that's kind of the foundation with them starting the family deal. So.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Joshua Thomas, and I know a senior last year and was a big time playmaker for y'all, and actually in our Gridiron Football Bowl game, Terrence Ormstead played in it too. So give me an update on Terrence, if he's planning on playing college football or going to be a student, or just talking to him as a player, because I know he got a chance to shine a little bit in our bowl game this past year.
I know Terrence had got a few looks for some junior colleges. I just don't know what his plans are now. Sure. I mean, he just kind of like day to day right now. So now he's in track and field. It's his first time ever doing track. He's throwing a shot put for me, so he's really enjoying that. So, but we always try to keep our wavelengths open for anything that may pop up. With him, I still send out information to coaches about him just to try to, if there's something there. I really do think he can play on that next level. Junior college would probably be a good spot for him, because he's only played, I think, 2 years of football, which would really help build him up to where he needs to be to get to that next level. And then there's Joshua Thomas. He's going to sign with Kentucky State. Okay. So he took a visit over there and really liked it, and they want him. So he's going to be doing he's going to be signed with them real soon. And then we have Jaden Lavisphere. Jaden was our anchor on the line, offensive and defensive line, and he's probably going to be his third year winning state in powerlifting in his weight class. So he actually has a trip to, I believe it's Northern Illinois State. They were the Division III national champions last year, and they really, really like him. So they just waited on some paperwork to go through, and I have a really good feeling they're going to offer him when he goes down for a visit.
Yeah, that was a special senior class as well. And you talked about a lot of those guys play multiple sports. So especially at a smaller school, how important is it for your football players to take part in multiple sports, with track and field, basketball, etc.? Right.
Well, by us being a small school, we kind of require our athletes to do everything. It helps them in the long run to where we're not just concentrating on one sport, and it helps the overall program as well. Because if they're in football, we will have success in football. They're in basketball, we're going to have success in basketball. Track, baseball, we're going to have success in those sports if those kids play. And and that's the kind of that's the kind of idea that we want to instill in our kids, that you don't have to just concentrate on one sport, because a lot of college coaches, they look at the multi-sport athletes, they look at those kids are able to do other things, and so I kind of preach that to them. If your goal is to play college football, this is what they're looking for. And all those kids that are trying to make that next step are our multi-sport athlete kids. Sure.
Any underclassmen guys that maybe Knights fans maybe not as accustomed to yet, but could surprise a lot of people this fall?
We have Keller Spinks at linebacker. He's going to be a second year starting at linebacker. He actually was our leading tackler this year on defense. Then we have we got to be honest, we have a couple of some freshman kids that played as 8th graders last year that really contributed a lot. And it was Cruz Corbin and Dixon Hopkins. Dixon's a big boy. I think Dixon's going to be our next Jayden Lavisphere.
Okay.
You know, he's big, strong. Actually, I think he's a little bit taller than Jayden. I don't think he weighs as much, but he's definitely a force of record with it. And Cruz, he's just very, just his motor's nonstop. You know, just to say he was an 8th grader last year. Those kids really contributed, and they helped a lot in the playoff game against Jules Sumner. You know, I was kind of worried about them being young and Jewel being who they are, you know, but those kids really held their own in that game, and I was real impressed. That was kind of the measuring stick for me for them for the next year on how they're going to be able to handle the Friday night grind. So, you know, those two for sure. And, you know, we have a whole list of other kids that come in and help, especially on our line this year is probably going to be our weak point, I believe. And I say our weak point because we have a lot of new faces there. But, you know, the way we coach them up and we get them ready for Friday nights, and you know we're gonna compensate in other areas where we need to, and you know we're gonna do what we do best.
And just to wrap up this interview, Coach, I know you could be like, let's see, a Nick Saban or a Bill Belichick, but but you're probably not going to go anywhere if it's not for the support of your community and your school. So how much has Slaughter, this community, this school, this administration has really helped back you and help build those pieces?
Well, I'll tell you what, from the administrative spot, our principal really wants us to be as good as we are academically. She wants the same for us to be that way athletically. So, you know, any help that I need with anything or anything I might need to kind of tweak here and there, you know, she's all for it, you know. And, you know, the fans, I mean, year in, year out, our fans have just gotten better and better, you know. And, you know, they come out, they support the boys. I mean, here on a Friday night in Slaughter, if there's a home game, if you're not here, you ain't nowhere, right. You know. So our stadium is full, and you know, our parents, you know, definitely a great group of parents, you know, from the senior parents on down. So it's just, you know, I can always just see this thing just getting better and better each year.
Yeah. And final question, Coach. I mean, I know we're in I think March, or about the beginning of March, and I was like, why we're doing this in March? Well, it's still never too early to promote your program. So for Knights fans, just give them a little snippet, you know, why they should show up, support the guys, and what kind of team they should be expecting in 2025.
Well, definitely, you know, to come out and support. You know, I mean, I really feel we're going to be a very physical team this year, a little bit more physical than we were last year, a little bit more exciting with big play capabilities. I really do think that defensively, we're going to have a really good, solid defense this year, and that, you know, having a good defense helps out offense. So I think that we have a lot of weapons on offense that we're able to utilize and use. We're going to put those kids in the best position for them to be successful, and you know, it's Friday night football. You know, anything can happen. So we're going to come out, we're going to play our best, and we're going to represent the S the best way we can.
We're looking forward to covering the S this year, Coach. Always a pleasure catching up with you, Coach. And looking forward to covering the Knights this year for Gridiron Football. For more of our content, make sure to follow us at gridironfootballusa.com.